it's Rebecca, and welcome to Returning, a podcast to return to yourself and the wisdom within. I'm so glad you're here with me. Thanks for returning. In today's episode, I'm exploring and unpacking the sense of separation that I feel so many of us feel from ourselves, from each other, and really from the earth itself. I believe that our disconnection from the earth, seeing the earth as sacred and seeing the earth as something we're so interconnected with, seeing the earth as our mother, her seasons, her cyclic ways, and the ever-changing state of the earth and ourselves has really caused so many of the problems that we all are facing, both individually and collectively as a planet, as for humanity as a whole as well. And so in today's episode, I'm essentially inviting you back into the garden, because I believe that now more than ever, we really need to open our eyes to see the sacred that is already here, all around us, as they say, on earth as it is in heaven. So really seeing the sacred that's right here, not just looking towards the heavens as this place to reach for or this destination to ascend to, but see the sacred that's already here, above us, below us, around us, and of course, within us, which is really what this podcast is all about. This really is a powerful conversation, and it's one that has sparked a lot of further conversation within my Inner Temple Mystery School training. Yeah, we found that the exploration of this topic really can be both subtle in that it's just subtle shifts for us to make, subtle invitations to accept, and yet it can be absolutely life-changing, really transformative when you explore this disconnection and reconnection, which is at the heart of this episode. At the very end of this episode, as always, you'll find a guided soul inquiry for you to explore any way that you feel disconnected at the moment and how you're being called to reconnect in that way. I know how precious your time is, so let's jump right into sacred space together now. In the center of your heart, imagining a beautiful flower, inviting it to open petal by petal, revealing a light in the middle. This is your wise, intuitive self, your soul, part of you that chose to be here in this life at this time and on this planet. Taking a deep breath in and inviting it to step forward now. Together, taking a moment to acknowledge the keepers and custodians of the land where I am, where you are, known and unknown. Beautiful, let's begin. If you look up the word nature in the dictionary, you'll find many things referenced, such as plants, stones, animals, and landscapes. You'll also find that it doesn't just leave out humans, but it specifically states that humans are not part of nature, as in we are completely separate from it. And so that kind of makes me wonder, like, is this why so many of us feel so disconnected? How humanity has caused so much harm to this planet, this thing that is seemingly separate from us, rather than seeing ourselves as an extension and an expression of it. I believe that this is the real separation that so many of us feel from the earth itself, and thus ourselves and each other. I believe our separation from the earth as our mother, her seasons, her cyclic ways, and ever-changing state has caused so many of the problems that humanity is facing on this planet today. And that when we see the sacred as a man external from us, separate from us in the sky, not woven into the earth, this separation becomes even more evident. I believe now more than ever, we need to see the sacred in all things, to notice the breathtaking beauty that really is all around us, to see the sacred and the beauty in the trees, the flowers, the plants, and the stones, as well as within ourselves and each other, to really weave the sacred back into our everyday lives. If you track back far enough, we'll all discover that we all have Indigenous earth-based traditions in our ancestry. Wise ones that tended to the land and lived in reverence to the sacred that is woven through it all. And despite the tragic harm that colonialism and patriarchy has caused, there are still Indigenous wisdom keepers living and past who hold this thread and sing us on. May we protect, support, and revere them. May we listen deeply to their song. I believe that the plants, the trees, the flowers and stones and the waters can potentially carry this lost wisdom on also. And through working with the plants and the stones and the waters, we can return to the earth and potentially reach back to our ancestors, the ones who didn't forget. For the majority of us, our ties with the ancient earth traditions of our ancestors have been severed through colonialism, persecution, invasions of the church, and many more things. Worship of the earth as living goddess and great mother was forbidden and has been, in many cases, long forgotten. Reverence for the sacred of the feminine and the earth has been dormant due to persecution and potential silencing. In many parts of the world, healers, shamans, witches, medicine people, midwives even, and those who worked with the plants to heal were persecuted and their wisdom work forbidden. Some lineages have been tragically lost, but I believe that in nature and within us too, they have the possibility to echo on. Still, after all this time and all the harm that has been done, still nature somehow cradles us, heals us, and calls us to return to her. The trees, the stones, the water, the flowers, now more than ever, I believe she is calling us to remember and to weave the sacred back into our everyday lives. I believe that nature is showing us how to be human and thrive on planet Earth every moment of every day. Indigenous earth-based traditions have always seen the earth and all beings as interconnected and sacred. Humans as one with the earth itself, interconnected. The earth and the ancient grandmothers, I believe, are calling us back to them to really weave the sacred back in, to weave nature back into the center of our everyday lives, to see ourselves as nature and to spend more time interacting deeply with the living natural world, to return to nature. Soul inquiry is a practice where we enter into a direct dialogue with our inner self. I like to write my answers out as I find I receive more deeply this way, but feel free to do what works for you. Today's soul inquiry prompt is, when you feel disconnected, what helps you to reconnect? When you feel disconnected, what helps you to reconnect? And now it's time to commit to a grounded action. So writing down or contemplating now on what is one baby step you can take in that direction today? What is one little baby step you can take in that direction today? And let's share a deep breath together as we close this sacred space we've stepped into. I'm so grateful for you being here. If you'd like to go deeper on this theme and look at increasing and enhancing your intuition and your connection with all things mystical, I invite you to explore the Inner Temple Mystery School training. It is a 9-month accredited training for mystics, artists, intuitives, and healers. And you can find more at rebeccacampbell.me/mystery school. And if you'd like to keep returning to yourself and returning here with me, then hit subscribe. And if you love this podcast, it really helps to leave a review or a 5-star rating. I so appreciate it if you can find a moment to do that. As always, you can find the show notes from today's episode with everything mentioned at rebeccacampbell.me/podcast. Thanks for returning.